So, moving on to, it's happening again, ladies and gentlemen.
Deja vu!
It's almost as if we said this might happen, and it's potentially going to happen, and you're all going to say in the comments, it won't happen, and then when it happens, we'll be like, we told you it was going to happen.
And by the way, for everyone who was asking on the stream, we did say we will cover this, and we are going to cover it, and more come out since yesterday about club looking at him, and it's getting annoying.
Wonderful. So, DC's press conference says, we have already talked about the players for a long time. We are waiting for them to come back. These are basically what he said there is, even though that wasn't a very good quote, he said, we sent the contracts to certain players, we're with agents, we're talking to them. Uragidi.
That said to me, we're seeing where we are at the end of the season and if we sign or not.
The one player we've been saying, can we sign? And just sort it out, please. It's Uragidi, a player who was actually decent today, again.
Yeah, he was.
And it's frustrating me against Reading, dating this podcast, obviously. Dom House and Yorkshire Live reports this, which we see, and obviously it sends the fan base into meltdown, the ones that see. Yorkshire Live understands a number of clubs in the top two divisions of English football and from abroad are closely monitoring the defender's situation in relation to Urhoghide. Yep. Premier League sides Leeds United and Crystal Palace and the Championship promotion hopefuls Watford are reportedly keeping close tabs on Urhoghide, whose contract expires this summer. Belgium Club Bruges are also said to have inquired about the player.
I want him to go to Belgium because then I don't have to have that thing of it coming back.
I want him to stay here. I'm sick of this.
No, if he goes, I want him to go to Belgium so I can just go, have fun. Then I don't get it rubbed in my face.
Yep. Also, interesting, following on from that quote, he says, Wednesday are keen to retain Urhoghide services. He has been offered a new deal, but no agreement has been reached. And I just put under this, it's happening again, because we said this about Shaw. We said the links were there. I don't think Urhoghide is going to sign in this current situation. I think it's just getting worse.
The only way he signs in this situation is that he's loyal because we took him when he didn't have a club. We brought him through the ranks and stuff. But as they say, there's not much loyalty these days in football, but you never know. A kid could... It also depends. You could also have it that whoever he takes his advice from, his mum and dad or whatever, because young players tend to do, they might turn around and say, you'll get played here. You might go to Watford, United, Palace, but you might not get played. It could be a case we give him a year contract and say, if an offer comes in January and it's big, we can let you go.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't see it,
but the thing is, like, you've got to look from a footballer's perspective here, and it's annoying saying this because we've been saying it all along. Handle your youth better, especially Urhoghide, because he showed signs back then. We needed to offer him we needed to offer triggered clauses for extra years and things like that. The thing
is, we don't put contracts in front of players until they're about to run out, and we've been doing this for years, where we don't retain players early enough when we see there's a decent thing.
That's why. Can I just say, side topic, that's why we're getting relegated.
Oh, yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
Because we had the 19 players, it's gone down to 18 players that have not signed contracts. And obviously we know Shaw's off. So many of those are just like, it doesn't matter, I'm going. You know, in their head, they're going and they're down in tools for it.
It's like...
With players like Urhoghide, he's actually playing out of his skin. Probably, though, there's probably a bit of that he knows that there's interest in him, right?
Yeah.
And he knows the thing for a footballer is, in his position... Yes, he
holds all the cards.
He also doesn't have to sign a deal if we say we're going to let him go in January, where if a big deal comes in, he goes, well, I could just go in summer, and actually I can make it easier for a Premier League club to pick me up and put me on their books.
But the thing is,
Premier League clubs have got more options.
But again, do you see a Leeds United Crystal Palace playing in 13?
No, they don't. But also, you've got to realise that one of those clubs could set him for a good amount of time and loan him back.
This is the same thing I have with Shaw.
Loan him somewhere else.
This is the same thing I have with Shaw. If a big club comes into you, you're going to be able to set yourself up for a little while and make and this is the capitalist thing, but make as much money as you can while you're young, because once you retire, you're going to have to live off that.
Yeah, I know, but also my caveat there is footballers earn so much money compared to the common man now.
Urhoghide not on much at the minute.
No, he isn't. Yeah, I don't know, but you can tell us more if you want. But like, if you think about general football careers, like even low-level football are still paid handsomely if you compare it to most professions. So for me, it's a case of like, if you manage your money right and you could literally be sort of like a lower-level footballer, but if you manage your money right, you could be still well off and sort of like big house, nice cars.
The biggest thing with footballers, and I've read a lot of books on it from players and stuff, Their biggest thing is not knowing what to do with their time when they've got downtime. A lot of them gamble, a lot of them play poker, a lot of them lose that money, or they have people with bad advice, or they invest in cars, or kind of thing.
And we're not talking about any of our players here, by the way. We're not talking. This is obviously an Uragidi topic, and we want to keep him. But yes, it's a case of that's a good discussion for like the money side of football. But with Uragidi, it's a case of. He obviously had that big viral video where he spoke really well and he was really grateful. He hasn't got the manager that brought him through anymore, right, and gave him that time. He's not here, who was notorious for working well with youth players. He's got a manager that comes in that didn't play him on his first start.
More is regarded working.
Didn't start him though.
No,
on his first game. So it's interesting. He did come back in the side against Reading and he played really well, to be honest. He's got such a confidence in his game now. The worrying thing for me there is he's upping his game to a point where he's showing off. He's showing what he can do.
He was doing a lot of step over on Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of step overs, yeah.
One thing I didn't realise with Urhoghide, he got a good cross on him, hasn't he?
The one thing for me, right, is the reason is with Shaw, I said take it or leave it. Yes, he's got potential. With Urhoghide, though, he's possibly one of our best fullbacks, if not our best fullback. That's my issue, right? I didn't really care about the Shaw situation. This one, I will put it on the table. I do not want him to go. I want him to sign a new deal because building a team around players like that can fit into that side, he would help us be part of that bounce back up. Think about like players like Green and Urhoghide. You want to start building that side.
Yeah. Now, I just said that. I completely forgot Green in League One would be killer. Even though I don't want to.
Have Urhoghide behind him because he can overlap with him. But the difference with Urhoghide, and we were talking about Penny a little bit earlier, is Urhoghide comes back and does the defensive work, and he is really good at it.
Very good.
Okay?
And
so what I am basically saying is if you are from a Premier League club, he's absolutely awful.
Rubbish.
You shouldn't sign him. His
attitude is poor. He doesn't
he'll come in and he'll disrupt your entire dressing room.
Yeah.
You just need to stay away from him and force him into a deal with Sheffield Wednesday. That's the situation.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is going to happen. What do you feel?
It feels like it's deja vu that we're going to have the situation where we have another good youth team player just go and we just very blind to not put a contract in their face and go sign this now and then you can get us some money. And this is the thing. We're not a club that knows how to profit on players. We went on...
And that's Chansiri. That is, I don't blame the man that much. That is on Chansiri. And also the fact that he says that nobody was talking about these players last year. Urhoghide, we were. When we saw Urhoghide, we were talking about him. That should have been done better because we saw the potential in him and he's only got better this season. Sure, I understand. Nobody really knew who he was.
We wanted to put a contract in front of Urhoghide, apparently, and Monk got told no. That's hearsay. I don't know how much of that is true. What I've heard is we tried to put a contract in front of him when Monk was here, and he got told no. So I don't know. Kind of thing.
Out of all those players that could leave, he's the one I don't want to leave, but he's the one that is going to... Because you've got to remember, though, the players that we want to keep are the ones that other teams will be like, oh, we can get them on a free. Yeah.